How are you feeling?
Still a little bit under the weather, but not bad.
All right. You sound a little bit better than yesterday as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You're on the up and up.
I'm on the up and up. Just coughing, man. I fucking hate coughing.
Well, is it the coughing where you're hacking everything up?
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's a good feeling, isn't it? You get to like say to the bacteria, "To hell with you," and then you spit them out.
that's true.
Yeah. It's like you're they're what are they called? You know, the people who inhabit a home and they don't pay their rent, so you got to kick them out. That's basically what they are.
That's true.
They're just really bad tenants, and you're just booting them.
Problem is when you cough that much so often, it makes my back hurt.
It's true. It's physically draining to cough. People don't realize that.
Well, big like heavy coughs, like little like that's nothing, but
Well, they even those irritate after a while. If you do that constantly, like for 20 hours a day or something, that's also not very good for you. But you're right. Yeah, the big ones are the really hefty ones.
what do we got on the docket today?
Well, everybody wants to know the situation of your fraud case.
Right.
So last time we left off, we were all hunky dory. People don't know. I mean, I didn't add anything extra to the previous episode. So we want to know, with, brand new information, what happened since the last time.
So after the podcast 2 weeks ago, I got a little notice saying to approve a purchase. And I went, oh, that's weird. Because the guy on the phone I spoke to on Friday said that he was canceling my card. So I went online and onto my credit card statement, and I saw that about $34,000 of charges had been charged to my credit card. So I called up RBC myself, and I talked to the guy to get the fraud stuff to go through. And I said, well, I talked to somebody yesterday. And he said, well, we don't have any record of you talking to us yesterday. So we went through the thing with them, and we determined that the call on Friday was indeed a scammer. And I got robbed.
And on Valentine's Day.
I fell for it. That's right. It was Valentine's Day. Yeah. It's a good thing I didn't have a date. Otherwise my card would bounce, and then I still wouldn't have a date.
Well, in this modern world, the date would have paid for you.
Maybe. That is true. Depends on the woman though. But yeah, so I got scammed online. They spoofed the RBC number. So looking up the RBC number didn't do any good. All the codes they were telling me to give them because it was the fraud department. They said you shouldn't have given them those codes. It even says on the text you shouldn't have given them those codes. I said, well, they said that they were the fraud department. He said you still shouldn't have given them those codes. So I did a lot of no-nos in dealing with this that could have stopped them from scamming me. So the moral of the story is, if your text thing says don't give anybody this code, literally nobody, no matter who they say they are. You got to be wary out there. They're getting better.
So did you end up getting your money back though?
I did get my money back.
Okay, well, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I got my money back.
So no lessons learned then. As long as you got your money back, you can just continue making the same mistakes.
Yeah, like, what's the big deal? Like, if they're going to fix it for me, then you keep bowling ahead.
Let's see how much further you can take it,
Yeah, but it was an experience.
And you got your new card.
I have not gotten my new card yet because I've not been down there to get my new card.
Oh, okay. Because, yeah, I remember you mentioned last weekend you might go on Monday or something, but I guess you didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I'll get out there eventually. But, yeah, that's the ending to this tale. Took 2 weeks. We didn't know there was a cliffhanger, but there was a cliffhanger. There was a part 2.
If we had the voice of the Dragon Ball Z next time on Dragon Ball Z, that would have been really good. Next time on Welcome World Wide Web, Dustin finds out he had indeed been scammed.
Oh, well, what are you going to do? It all worked out at the end of the day. That's the important thing.
And now you have a story to tell. See, that's the thing. People forget about that. If everything works out after unfortunate experience, then it's just a good story to tell.
That is true. Yep, I got a good story. It's like a good scar.
Well, it's not even, I wouldn't even call it a scar, because it's one of those cases where when you're young, you get to do stuff like you'll scrape your knee and blah, 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 but you won't get scarring on it. It'll just be a mistake that you learn from without any consequence. And you don't get that as often as an adult. So when it happens like this, where you don't, I mean, obviously it's a bit annoying that you had to deal with this over the course of 2 weeks, but ultimately, the end of it, you didn't lose anything. So that's, I would say, equivalent to something like that.
That is true. It all ended up good. Just wasted a lot of time. Also, the actual fraud call was like a fraction of the time it took for them to steal my stuff. Like 20 minutes versus an hour and 15 or whatever it was.
Well, because the person you spoke to, I remember you said he didn't have any strange accent. You could just perfectly understand him anyway.
Well, no, he was still Indian.
But you could still understand him.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. He spoke English relatively well. So that's another thing. If you can't understand him, also maybe don't.
Don't trust them. Don't trust people you don't understand.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's the wrong message, but it's what I'm going with here.
That's what they're teaching you from this life lesson. You're learning to be racist.
Yeah, it's true.
I wonder if it's the opposite. Like, let's say you live in India, and then the bank calls you, and it's somebody who doesn't know Hindi very well, and they have this thick accent. The Indian person is struggling to understand what they're trying to tell them, and then they get scanned by some American. I wonder if that ever happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or their call centers. I wonder if their call centers end up, routing to America somewhere. Probably not again. It's just because of the cost. But it would have been hilarious to see that. People in India having to struggle with someone with a southern accent, a thick southern accent.
Those southern accents can get pretty thick.
Well, yeah, exactly. Especially when they're talking in the slang. Oh, yeah, it's called the southern drawl, right? But in addition to that, with the slang that they use.
Yeah, I remember working, when I was a teenager, I worked at Tim Hortons for all of 5 days. And I remember this guy came in, he was wearing a cowboy hat, very clearly from the South.
Is that the origin of your cowboy hat? Did he give you it? Because he's like, here you go, kid.
No.
And he puts the hat on you. And then he walks out.
I don't think so.
That'd be hilarious.
I don't think so. But I could not understand a word he said. He was definitely speaking English, but I could not understand a word he said.
Was he happy with the whatever happened afterwards? Or did he seem upset that you didn't get the order correctly?
I don't know. It was a long time ago. I just remember the guy. I don't remember the experience.
That's the other moral, that even if you're speaking English, people may still not understand you. And so if somebody's trying to learn English, don't worry if you don't understand everybody. Some people are just difficult to understand. It's the same with the English people, right? Some of them have moderate accents. You can get them pretty easily. Queen's English type. But then you got the ones in various other parts of England, which even people there don't understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of the same speakers all over the place that speak differently. On that note, what else we have? Because I have nothing.
Here, I'll bring up a question that I've had
All right.
on this list as an emergency. So have you ever had a case of not liking something, but then eventually liking it? Because I know, I remembered from back when you originally didn't like Sekiro, but then you played it again and you really got into it. So I'm wondering what else you have. You have any other experiences like that?
Let's see. Well, let me think about it. What about you?
Well, for me, the only one or again, one of the reasons that inspired this was I didn't used to like camembert cheese. You know, those cheeses that are really strong. When I was younger,
Right.
I really didn't like them. I was very put off by them. But then when I tried it, this was actually in Morocco when I tried the camembert cheese, surprisingly. But I did enjoy it. So, and from that point on, I was like, yeah, actually, most of these are pretty good. I never really tried the very strong ones. Really, like, there's cheese that's actually like black, just pitch black.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah,
very, very
yeah.
strong. But, I'm getting there. So I think that's one of the major examples for me.
That's good. So you're moving up the cheese ladder.
Up the cheese ladder, yeah. Because I do like cheese. I don't often eat it anymore. I feel like it's hard to put it into a meal.
I don't think that's true. I think
No, but
cheese can be put into a lot of things. Yeah.
It's hard to put the more interesting cheeses into a meal. It's more of like a, wine and cheese type situation where you're eating small portions of different types. Obviously, I can put cheddar cheese or mozzarella or whatever into some dish. That's fine. But that's not what I mean by this. So I don't often eat these fancy cheeses.
Oh, okay.
I'll have them once in a while, but usually rarely.
You got to do a Europe tour since you're over there and just do cheese stuff.
Do cheese stuff? Only cheese. So basically,
Only cheese
remove all
tours,
food groups, just cheese. All day, cheese only.
Well, you got to eat regular stuff.
No. We got to go all the way. It's all or nothing with me. That's my problem in life. But I gotta use that to my advantage someday.
That's, yeah, not here though. Not here though. You won't make it out of it.
Nothing else will make it out of me either.
That's right. Exactly. That's the point. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that,
No foods, nothing like that.
I mean, I'm sure there's things that I remember thinking that I probably won't like, and then,
Oh yeah, that's true. That's another case, I
you
guess.
you do like them, which is slightly different, but
Well, has that happened to you?
I'm sure it has. I'm always a little bit weary of like I'll say, I guess one case is like Indian food. I think the first time I ever had Indian food was at your place when I visited
Oh yeah, okay.
years and years ago. And I just never thought that I would like Indian food. And I had it, and it was pretty good. I wouldn't eat it. I still won't really eat it, but because it's way too fucking oily.
That's true. It is, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say all of it is like that, but the dishes that we had were oily. You're right.
Yeah, and I know my stomach. I remember my stomach did not like that. So something like that, definitely for sure, would be an example of something I thought I wouldn't like. I don't know what else. You know, one thing I hate that I'll never understand is sushi. I hate sushi, and I just cannot.
And you've tried it. It's not a case of
And
you
I've
never
tried
had
it.
it before.
No, I've tried it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because I love sushi. I know Joel loves sushi. Many people in
Yeah,
the world
most people
do.
do. Yep. I don't get it. Maybe I just gotta try other types or something like that.
Well, I'm wondering because there's sushi that's like, obviously there's sushi that has the fish in it, but there's sushi that doesn't have fish in it at all. It just has vegetables, and it's effectively the same thing, just without the fish. So I wonder which part of it is what puts you off. Is it the fish, or is it just the whole ensemble, like of the rice mixed with the seaweed wrap?
I remember really hating the fishy.
Fishy, okay.
Like it tastes, yeah, like it was fishy, and I was like, yeah,
So for you, I guess maybe like raw fish is something that puts you off.
yeah, probably.
And
Yeah.
I guess another alternative would be, of course, try a different type of fish because usually it's salmon, tuna, that type of stuff. There are other types of fish as well. But I think if you don't like the fishy taste, maybe that won't help. But yeah, no, that's fair because I know, like for me, I know there's people who actually eat like there's dishes which are made from raw beef, and I've struggled to I haven't tried them. Maybe they're good, but I struggle to want to eat them because I know how much potential disease there is in such meat. Like fish, fish obviously has potential too, but you often hear about raw meat having issues.
Well, beef is usually okay.
It's true. That's why
Beef is usually okay. You don't want to eat raw pork. You don't want to eat raw chicken, poultry, anything like that. But beef is usually okay to eat. What's it called? Tartar? It's not tartar.
beef tartare, yeah. That's
Is
the
that what it
dish.
is?
Well, that's one of the dishes. I'm sure there's other ones, but beef tartare is the one I'm thinking of. But yes, especially pork.
I
wouldn't
couldn't
want.
imagine eating it though. I feel like raw beef has like a really crappy texture to it.
Well, it's also similar to eating one of those like it's a blue steak, right? Where if the
Yeah.
meat is almost not cooked at all. I don't know. I struggle to do that. Especially pork though. That one is definitely I'm always careful about that because I've read that like if somebody ingests raw pork, then they get like worms inside them. I wouldn't want that. That's disgusting.
Well, it's not like you'd feel the worms.
Yeah, but you know that they're there all through your body.
Well, you don't know they're there either. That's the thing. You don't even know that they're there.
I guess maybe I might have worms inside me now, eh?
You could have worms right now.
I always think back to that episode of Futurama. I'm sure you remember it, where Fry gets the tapeworms.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always thought, man, it's such a shame he gets rid of them. He became such a superhuman basically after.
I know. I wouldn't have gotten rid of them.
I would have been like,
I'm
man,
that's crazy.
do your thing, boys. Just keep going.
Yep,
This is working out. This is the perfect symbiotic relationship.
I agree.
He didn't even have any negative side effects. What did he have as a negative side effect? It wasn't anything. It was just because people thought, oh, it's the worms, not you. Like, well, to hell with you. But you don't like Fry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, I'd be like, yeah, keep them. I agree. Too bad that doesn't work like that in real life.
Yeah, tapeworms are pretty bad. They eat your food instead of giving you the nutrients. No,
I was gonna say
they're not.
that's
good.
a nice weight loss.
Actually, people used to use that for weight loss. That was one of the things, aside from all the other crappy remedies people had. But tapeworms were actually a legitimate, according to the old world, way of losing weight, which naively speaking, it makes sense. But I think there's detriment aside from them stealing your
Oh yeah,
food.
I'm sure there's health issues. Yeah. I saw a horror movie once. The whole thing was it was a tapeworm, but it was like a evil tapeworm or something like that. And
Oh, okay. But just one.
yeah, it was just one
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
part of it or whatever. Yeah. So turns out there's some stuff with tapeworms in horror movies.
Well, they're freaky, right? If you think about it, if you pull out a tapeworm and it stays together, it's pretty long and it's unsettling to think about it.
You ever see the ones with the
Yeah, that's what
bears?
I'm thinking of as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, those are tapeworms, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Dragging out their ass a mile behind them.
They're
Yeah.
they're sturdy, those creatures. Those tapeworms, they know how to get stuff done. They don't die easily.
Well, because they can segment and then make a new one.
Exactly. So you can have a whole army of tapeworms. That's why I'm confused by the horror movie, because it seems strange that would only be one tapeworm.
Yeah, that's all you need. You need just one.
Wouldn't the protagonists in the
One evil
horror
tapeworm.
movie, wouldn't they try to like rip it apart and then, oh, sorry, gotcha, now there's two of them?
I think it was like taking over the person.
Oh, okay. From inside.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then, yeah. It would never expose
Yeah.
itself.
Does it?
Well, it does. I don't know. You could argue that, well, maybe they've learned how to, because you have those other things that take over the brain. I guess not of humans, but of other animals.
Not humans. Yeah.
But
Cordyceps.
there you go. That's just an extension of that. Just taking over your ass and then gradually up your head, spinal cord, and so on. It's like a little highway for it.
Yeah, just imagine if those funguses that could take over, or even the parasites that could take over the insects and all that, ever figure out how to do it with humans.
Well, you told me this. Isn't this the premise of Last of Us?
Yes, that is the premise of Last of Us, yeah. Well, more or less.
I guess you don't have to
the
imagine it
funguses.
if it's already been written out.
Yeah, but imagine the actual reality of it.
Oh, yeah. We'd be screwed.
It would be frightening.
How does it... Well, hold on. I hope it's not a spoiler for me, but how does it work in the game? Are the people who are affected by it, are they still sentient, or are they basically just gone now?
Oh, they're gone now.
Okay, well, it's different then, because imagine if you still had sentience and that like you could see what's happening and not be able to affect it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just gone now. I don't think...
That's not as bad then. That's just like, oh, well, it's a zombie, basically.
I don't know for sure if they ever... Maybe they do. If they ever actually address it. I just assumed they were gone, but I don't... Maybe they're not. I think they are. I'm not sure.
Well, when I play it, I'll know for sure.
There you go. You'll figure it out. Yeah. All those movies with the zombie apocalypses, I don't think that it would ever go down like it does. I think we'd be better at containing it than they give credit for.
Well, I don't know.
First of all those movies don't even know what zombies are.
That's true. It's so
they
weird.
go,
Like
"Oh."
every time they're surprised. Oh, what is this? I've never seen this in my media.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I wish? I'm sure there's already a movie like that, but I wish there was one that acknowledged that, oh yeah, we know what this is. Let's deal with it.
Oh yeah, there are, but not ones that deal with it. Yeah.
But I remember even like Zombieland. I only saw the first one, but I think they were still surprised by, oh, there's zombies. What are these things? And that's a joke movie. You'd think that they would fit that in somehow.
It's true.
And what about Shaun of the Dead? Because I've never seen that either, but that's supposed to be like, again, poking fun at all this, but does it ever address this? Does it ever say like, oh no, we know what these are. These are zombies.
Yeah, I don't know. I never saw it. Can't answer that one. Well, maybe we'll get it on the randomizer.
It's on my list to watch. It's apparently one of there's like 3 big movies. I forget what they are again, but one of them is that, where it's like really well-made movies.
Right.
Hot Fuzz, I think, is another one of the 3. Same actors across them, I think,
Yep.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be able to deal with it, I think. Just don't let them bite you. Like, what the hell? It's not that hard.
I think back to like COVID, I don't think people did necessarily that good a job containing it across the world. And so there's always a chance of something like that happening with a zombie apocalypse as well.
I guess that's true. They'll deny it until half the world's already gone.
Yeah, and then there'll be like zombie parties, like everybody turn into a zombie. Let's all catch it and then we'll be immune.
It's true. Yeah, you'll have people that want to do it. Yeah.
Before COVID, I'd be like, yeah, we probably contain it. No, I don't know. I have less faith in the world as a whole.
Yeah, we have more data now on how successful we'll be.
That's why, like in a zombie apocalypse, the first thing I'm doing is killing myself. I don't even want to deal with the aftermath. All those movies I see is like, my God, you're like the only person left in the world. Why would you even want to live at this point?
Yeah, that's fair.
You could have a bit of fun at the beginning, like, yeah, let's run around and shoot zombies in the head. But even then, it's like, well, the novelty wears out. How many times can you possibly do this and still enjoy yourself?
I don't know. You ask an American, they'll do it all day, every day.
They get sick too. I guarantee it.
I don't think so. Like I said, I think the thing is that if it's, I think you could, like the military or whatever, rolls in, they could take them. It really shouldn't go outside of and again, I mean, you're right that given COVID response, who knows, but it really shouldn't go outside of a town or something like that. You'd hope. You just roll the military in and nuke the whole place.
But I guess the other problem, like why did COVID spread, is because people travel. People travel way more now than back in the old days. And so the chance of somebody having it, leaving that town, going somewhere else, starting to spread it there, I think it's way higher than we give it credit for.
Right, but it depends on how like in a lot of those zombie movies, they turn pretty fast.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like rabies or something where it's a delayed transformation.
Yeah, they delay or they turn pretty fast. So I'm thinking there's not a lot of time to. I mean, worst case scenario, they're turning when they're on the flight or something like that.
They're turning in the security. They're waiting for the security clearance to pass through, and they're told come through the metal detector. They go through and they're like rabid and they're shaking and the shaking like, okay, you're free to go. you didn't beep, so get your stuff and go. And then the person picks up their belt and their shoes and stuff, puts them on. It's still rabid and still shaking. And goes off onto the plane.
The other thing is to catch the zombie virus, you have to be bitten.
Yeah.
How many people are going to be like
biting each other?
That motherfucker just bit me. Oh well, I have to go on a business trip to Alabama now.
Oh, he bit me. Don't
go to the doctor or anything. I'm just gonna head to Alabama. That random human just completely sunk his teeth into me, drew blood. And look at now they're going around and doing it to everybody else. Oh, it's tearing that lady's throat out. So time to go to Alabama.
But that's another premise that people could work with is what happens with a delayed onset.
Yeah, if it was a delayed onset, it'd be much different.
Because you're right. If it's a quick one, yeah, it's less likely.
I mean, you still end up in one of those situations where, again, if somebody bites you, you're just going to ignore it.
Yeah, if it's a delayed one, you wouldn't ignore it. You're right. You would probably have time to, I guess, figure out what's going on at the very least.
It would be interesting. Well, what else we got?
I got a lot to say about the movie if you want to talk about the movie.
Give me 1 second then. I'm just going to go get a drink and then we can hop into the movie. And I'll tell you, that's the other thing about being sick. You need your fluids. Lots and lots of fluids.
Yeah, especially you probably had a really high fever when I checked your stream out and you had the coat on and everything.
Man, it just hit me and it's so weird the way that works. Like you just get super cold. You shouldn't be super cold, but you just are and you're shivering and, the human body's weird.
But that's the human body actually defending itself, funny enough. The fever and all that, that's it's like, again, it's a bad tenant and you're trying to roast them out.
Why couldn't it drive it off without making me feel like shit?
It's a give and take. That's how your body works.
Maybe just let the bad things run rampant.
Yeah,
maybe that's...
I always wonder about that. Well, because think of the, people who have the immune deficiency. I think part of that is to also potentially not have the fever, right? When your body's not trying to defend itself. So presumably you wouldn't have a fever. And I do wonder how people feel with a virus living inside them and running amok like that. Obviously, it's a very long-term damaging effect, but I wonder short-term if they feel anything negative.
Yeah, maybe the common cold or whatever I have, or maybe like if I just let it go, it'll just like do the fry thing to me,
Yeah, we never tried that.
My body's just not letting it go.
Exactly, we never try it.
It's jealous.
Your body is jealous. It's like, oh, I don't want this guy in here. Get him out. It's funny because, like back in the old days, long, long ago, why is it that humans are able to see color? It's because of a virus. It's a virus that infected humans and gave us color. That's why we're one of the few species that can see color.
There we go. Learn something new. Thank you, virus. So who knows what this virus would do? Just let it go.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why that one was allowed through. Why was it that the human... That's something to look into, I guess, is why did it allow it to happen, the body?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know that answer. But in the meantime, I just gotta suffer and let my body do its thing, I guess. No superpowers for me.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's right.
Not
Maybe the
this
next
time.
one.
Maybe the next illness.
Yep. All right. Well, we watched Horse Girl.
Horse Girl from 2020. I watched it right after we finished playing last night.
Oh, did you?
So a perfect movie to watch when you're sleep deprived. Why not?
Yeah, it was a messed up movie.
It was, I would say, unsettling is the best word to describe it, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to be in her shoes. And the first question that comes to mind is, did you think it was real or still just a mental illness?
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of hung up, and the movie loses me a little bit because it was like there's ambiguous. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like hold the viewer's hands all the time, but the options in this movie are so wildly different. Like it was too ambiguous. None of the events could be explained by any interpretation. Like you couldn't explain all of the events with one single interpretation. That's where I get lost.
What pops into my head is, because you think, it's just her mental illness, it's fine. But at the beginning, first of all, at the end, right, she's walking with the horse to the fields or whatever. And this is real life. And Joan, I think her coworker's name is Joan, right?
Yeah.
You know, the older one that's
Yeah, I know you're talking
helps
about,
her
yeah.
and stuff. But she sees the back of the horse for a few seconds at the end. She sees the same back of the horse at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
And that's what makes you think like, okay, so I guess it all is happening. It all, like, she is in a time loop or aliens or whatever other explanation. And it's not just her schizophrenia, which, by the way, I think the mental illness would have been paranoid schizophrenia again. Yay, another movie with it.
I know.
Seems
that's
like
what I
we
was
keep
thinking when I was
pulling
watching
those,
it.
People love
Yep.
schizophrenia. Yeah, so like part of me thinks, okay, I guess it was real. But another part is like, well, they did a really good job with portraying how real it feels to the person suffering, because I think they did do a good job, and Alison Brie did a fantastic job acting it out.
What's the thing is, even if you take, I lean more towards it's aliens, that it actually is aliens. Because even if you take the perspective that we're just watching the mental breakdown from the point of the mental breakdown, or the emerging schizophrenia, it doesn't explain the horse. It doesn't explain the alien at the end.
Which alien at the end?
Like when she's abducted.
Oh, the lights in the sky?
Well, when she even floats up and she loses her shoes and all that stuff.
I just thought maybe that was
doesn't
just another, like, us seeing her watching herself kind of situation.
Maybe. But it doesn't explain her shared experience with that other girl. Unless they're both just crazy and just, reaffirming each other's thing.
And they were maybe both in there for the whole time anyway. That could have been another potential situation.
You kind of just have to suspend, or you just kind of have to read more into every single situation. It doesn't explain how she showed up at the arts and crafts store naked and still soaking wet. There's no way she made it from her house to the arts and crafts store soaking wet.
And she was soaking wet, right?
Yeah. So that didn't make sense. I saw one theory posited that she was in a coma. She was the one who actually had the horse.
Yeah, I saw that Reddit post. Basically, and that was actually quite intriguing to me. Like, let's assume that she was in the coma. The fact that the shadowy figures, which were creepy, by the way, I found that was quite interesting how they designed them. They were like giving massages to everybody with their weird looking tendrils from their fingers.
Yeah.
But those shadowy figures were the people, the doctors in the room, and the people to her side were the other patients in the room. So yeah, I believe it in some way. But the point is, like, would she have been in the coma though, if they already had the backstory for the other girl, for like her suffering the accident, the one she would visit?
Maybe though, because if she had the accident, maybe she didn't interpret her having the accident. She's in the coma.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, she definitely could pull that together, but I don't know, man. I just don't know.
But then the end, yeah, that's another reason why I like that theory. Actually, it's because at the end, the aliens, her rising up, or whatever, that's just her coming out of the coma. And the lights are just like the hospital lights. I don't know. I forget what the arrangement of lights was, but it's like, you could believe that's an operating table light.
Yep, could be. Yep.
So it's a happy ending.
It could be a happy ending. Yeah, it's just a very open-ended movie, very ambiguous movie. You take from it what you want to take from it. there's not really anything wrong with it. Like it was a good movie for what it was.
Yeah,
Like
I liked it.
Alison Brie did a good job.
Yeah, she really knew how to turn on the crazy. She was amazing with some of the parts where, she suddenly started to want to dig up her mother because she wants the DNA, and so she's trying to get Darren to help her, and she's threatening to stab him with scissors. I mean, come on, what more could you want?
And I mean, it did really look like, that's the thing, is you're watching it, especially in, the earlier parts. It did really look like kind of what we saw in that other movie, right?
The Soloist?
Yeah, The Soloist, where, she just randomly started turning on, somebody who was supporting her, just like Jamie Foxx's character did with his sister.
I read that the script was written by, I think, the writer, the main writer is Baena or Baena. But Alison Brie co-wrote the script because Alison Brie's family, I guess, also has a history of paranoid schizophrenia.
Okay.
And so she was able to inject that reality into it. And I guess we'll act it out as well. So I think that's why it feels so... I felt like it felt quite real in the sense that because it wasn't obvious hallucinations. Again, I compare it to Beautiful Mind. It wasn't obvious hallucinations that are just tangible and you can interact with. It was just things that make you paranoid, like auditory hallucinations, like when she was trying to fall asleep and she thought, oh, the roommate and her boyfriend are doing something, but in the end, they weren't even there. So things like that. I don't know. They did a really good job.
I think one of the other things you couldn't naturally explain necessarily were the scratches on that wall.
Yeah, the scratches were weird. And also in the car, right? You noticed that on the roof of the car, she had the same scratches. It was a brief moment. It wasn't as explained as the wall, but yeah, they were there.
Like, there's no way she's going to, like, be able to claw into the wall like that without doing something to her hand.
So it's those aliens with the tendrils that they used for massage.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
That's a pretty rough massage.
That's why they did it to the wall.
That's such a weird part, though. I think I'm just imagining it again. It's such a, like, it's a cool part, but it just feels so strange in this context.
Well, it was a good movie overall.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think the ambiguity is the only thing that prevents it from being the top, because I'll still say Pump Up the Volume is still my King of the Hill.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Beautiful Boy.
Wow, Beautiful Boy is, for you, that's quite good then. It's sticking up there. Who did you think did a better job acting?
I still probably think Timothée Chalamet did.
Yeah, because I thought Alison Brie did a fantastic job.
Oh, she did do a fantastic job. She's an exceptional actress.
Because you said it was about her. You said that you loved her, right? When we were looking up the movie. Where did you see her? Where else does she play?
For the first time in Community.
Okay, Community. I haven't watched that yet, so I don't know. These, because some of these actors, I think they got their start on Community. I guess some of the famous ones.
She did. Chevy Chase didn't.
No, I know that.
Turns out he was in other. But
some of the younger ones. Yeah. Some of the younger ones.
Yeah, she did Community. And she started in a wrestling series called Glow, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember commercials for that.
Yeah, she gets around. She's not I don't think she's a small-time actress. She's a bigger name. All right, well.
I believe it's your turn to pick.
It's time for our next movie. All right, let's see what we got.
It's going to be another comedy about football that's not actually a comedy.
Random movie generator. They still have the holiday generator up there. All right, here we go. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Old Yeller.
Old Yeller? Oh, look at that. A nice feel-good movie.
That's right. That nothing bad happens at the end.
Yeah, of course. No rabies in this movie.
No animal cruelty.
For what it's worth, I don't even think I've ever actually watched Old Yeller. I just know what happens, and especially all the parodies and everything.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched Old Yeller front to back. I also don't think I've ever seen, I know it's called Old Yeller, but I just don't think I've ever seen it, spelled out in the title,
Old Yeller? Yeah, usually you hear it, I guess.
Yeah.
This is the 1957 one, right? There's no other one.
I don't think there's another one.
Oh, wow. I think this might be one of the earliest ones we've seen. One of the oldest movies. Or we will have seen.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true. Yeah. When was the sports movie? 70s or something.
70s, yeah.
This is an early Walt Disney movie. That's how you also know the dog probably talks.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised about that. Yeah, because usually with a Disney movie, the dog would talk, but I don't think this one does. This predates them having talking real like live action animals.
This is when Disney was okay with like pushing the edge a little bit.
I mean, they did that even a bit later, but I guess in the 90s at some point they had to back down.
Now everything's all clean. Where can we watch it? Oh, Disney Plus, of course. There we go. Finally getting that use
The magnificent Disney Plus.
out of the magnificent Disney Plus. It's also a shorter movie, thank God.
It's because it's old.
It's true. Movies are too freaking long now.
Horse Girl was pretty short, surprisingly. Like 140. That's not.
Oh, it was
bad.
like an hour. Hour 40.
Yeah, but that's fine. 2 hours is where it's like, yeah, okay, it's a bit much.
Not Old Yeller though. Only an hour 22. I'll take it. Well, it'll be a good watch. Something different. No schizophrenia in this one.
Yeah, unless I'm completely mistaken about the premise of the movie. Maybe the kid's just going crazy.
That's true. Yeah, maybe the dog doesn't have rabies and the kid just
It's just
is schizophrenic and thinks he does.
Wouldn't that be a twist? Man, if they remade it now, I would guarantee you that that's what would happen. They would make it so the dog is completely innocent, but the boy is nuts, and that's what happens in the end.
There you go. Well, all right. That'll be our thing for 2 weeks from now. Feel free to watch it with us and see if you agree with us or not. All right, why don't you tell us what the word of the fortnight is?
All right, the word of the fortnight will be familiar to you. It is orrery. Orrery. It's a noun, and it is an apparatus showing the relative positions and motions of bodies in the solar system by balls moved by clockwork. And this one I got from Merriam-Webster, the example. By the 1950s, the traditional Copernican orrery was in need of an electronic upgrade. And the reason I put this word is because we didn't know what it was when we were playing Escape Simulator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was in that spaceship when we needed to figure out what to do. And they said something about an orrery.
I see.
It's a good word.
It is a good word.
It's like when a dog tries to say ovary.
Nope.
Like Scooby-Doo, he's trying to say ovary, but he can't because he's got the rars.
Well,
Maybe Old Yeller will say it.
not quite sure that tracks, but maybe. Well, there you go. Orrery from Escape Simulator. See, these games, man, they like to
I
put
know.
tricky words in there.
I've gotten most of my words from games recently. I think all of them recently were from games.
All right, it's Pokemon time. Do 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 do. All right, we are rating Pokemon cries from the legendary Pokemon in the series. I watched some Pokemon episodes the other day.
Older ones or brand new?
Yeah, like from the beginning.
Because I remember you started watching. Didn't you start
I
watching?
did, and then that was that was a long time ago, so I started again.
You restarted again.
I watched like the first 6 episodes.
Where Ash oversleeps, gets a Pikachu, Misty harasses him, he harasses her, and the cycle continues.
That's how it goes in the first episodes. Then there's Team Rocket, and
They blast off multiple times.
and Caterpie evolved into Metapod, and then evolved into Butterfree.
And then Ash, that's one out of Ash's 8 Pokemon in the series.
Yep.
That he loses.
Ash is the worst Pokemon trainer in the world.
Yeah.
How he even, it took him 25 years to friggin' win a tournament, but that notwithstanding.
But he hasn't aged a day.
And he didn't age a day, Given that the fucking subtitle or, catchphrase of Pokemon has got to catch them all, he doesn't really hold up to that very well.
It's a really low bar that he's aiming for.
Unless they're Rhyhorn, and then he goes overboard. Taurus, and then he goes overboard.
He just wants to be a cow farmer.
Maybe that's all it is.
Wait, can
that's what
a
they should do with
Taurus
him.
can a Taurus be female? I think we looked this up once. Because it's like, what is the female version of a Taurus?
Are there female Tauros? No.
So how?
I guess Miltank is the female counterpart.
Which didn't exist in the first generation.
Yeah, that's true.
So they had no way to reproduce until later on.
Yeah, how do they reproduce? I guess Ditto.
It's always Ditto. Ditto is the counterpart to every relationship.
That's true. Because they breed with everything. Isn't that what it is in the games? They breed with everything.
Yeah. I think that's how you can create eggs.
Yeah.
Which is another question I have sometimes now that I think about it. Why is
All
it?
Pokemon lay
Yeah,
eggs.
even the mammals.
Well, listen, Pokemon doesn't have to.
Yeah, I know. It makes more sense because then you can carry the egg around instead of a pregnant Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't want to fight with a pregnant Pikachu and all that kind of
Wouldn't that
stuff.
be hilarious, though? Your Pikachu comes out, it's got a big belly. It's about to deliver its litter of Pichus. And then suddenly, and then at the end of the fight, oh no, Pikachu's water broke. And then you just get the litter coming out one after the other.
Here you go.
Game Freak wouldn't do that, though.
Yeah, I don't think they would. Oh well, one can dream. All right, well, here we go. Let's judge some Pokemon. So this is the third round, I think. All cries we've heard before. So now we're just moving up the ladder. Best of the best. Here we go. Round 69 between 77 and 45. We don't know who the Pokemon are. You can look it up on our website, but we don't know. So here's 77.
Oh, this is the guy muffling his cough. Yes.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's really just me. That's my.
Yep. There you go. They just they have a bug in your room
Yep, exactly.
listening to you.
And here's 45.
Yeah, it's 45.
That was also me in my room.
45. Absolutely.
That's a wild growl. That's a wild cry.
Oh man, it's just a toilet. Somebody going to the bathroom. Come on, what more could
All
you
right.
want? You could combine these two. If you do the cough immediately after that, you do the toilet. It's like somebody hacking something up and going to the bathroom at the same time. It's great. It's amazing. That's a rough night right there.
That is a rough night. Yeah, it's coming out both ends. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just sorry that they have to. One of them has to be dismissed now.
Well, voting 45?
Yeah.
All right, me too. Here's number 70 between 5 and 92. Here's 5.
Oh, that's the monk chanting something.
Okay. And 92.
Ah, that's just like a funny sound
Spring.
effect. Yeah, a little spring. I'll go with number 5. I kind of like the monk.
Yeah, I don't like that one. Yeah, I'm going to go with 5 also.
And 92 also, it's another one of those cases where it's like, which part is the cry? You know, it sounds like a spring.
Yeah, it really does. That's what it sounds like.
It's like a
Sounds
Pokemon
spring.
jumping somewhere.
Yeah. All right, 5's moving on. 71 between 76 and 85. Here's 76.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like a truck passing by.
Yep. And 85.
Ah, yeah. This is like, I really like this one because it's like a horror theme. It's like a ghost slowly creeping up on you.
Yeah, but there's like rock sounds in the background.
Well, it's a heavy-footed ghost.
Yeah, it's not a very good ghost if it can't even keep off its feet.
I'm gonna go with 85 though. I do like it.
Yeah, I like 85 also.
I think because last time I remember what really that's why I wish it moved on, but it was against the shot, right? Remember, it was like just a gunshot basically,
Oh.
and then we combined the two. We were like somebody's trying to shoot the ghost as it's creeping up.
Right. Yeah. All right. 85's moving on. 72 between 2 and 31. Here's 2.
It's like the intro. Remember we said that's like the intro to a cartoon in the 70s or 80s?
Yep.
Yeah.
And 31.
Oh, I like the ending of that one. The really powerful bird.
Yep, there's a good ending at the end there.
This is a tough one. I'm not like, neither of them is amazing to me, but no, I'll go with 31, I think.
I'm going to go with 2.
Okay. I don't have a strong preference, so, we'll see how it goes.
All right. You want odds or evens?
I'll be odds.
All right. So we're going to ratio these. We're going to give our favorite a score on a scale of 1 to 100. And Raji's odds, I'm even. And whoever comes out higher, comes out higher. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Go for it. What do you got?
61.
All right. I wrote 74.
All right. So 2 it is.
2 it is. Yeah, I like that one much more than I like 31.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, 2 was good too. I just thought, maybe the cry is a cry 31 makes more
Yeah.
sense. And 2 wasn't novel enough, like, a person sitting on a toilet for me to say, yeah, I want to.
Yeah. Shame. He should have been sitting on a toilet.
Well, I wish, but no. Yeah,
Can't combine them.
yeah, exactly. It's a cartoon. Like I guarantee you, this is something you could hear at the beginning, especially like a Japanese cartoon, where the company that makes it has that little jingle at the beginning. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. It's just a mascot Pokemon, that's all.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, that's it for the week. Next week we come at you with 4 more rounds.
Only 3. This is the last time we're doing 4. And from now on, it's only 3 each time.
Okay, it's only 3 starting next week. It's going to be even shorter now.
Well, because there's not that many left, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we're getting to the end of the season.
I mean, we're almost done with this round even. It's going to be 1, 2, basically like 2 full episodes and a little bit of the next one after that. And then it's going to be the best of the best of the best.
There we go. That's it for today's show. We'll come at you next week with more energy when I'm feeling much better.
When you're feeling 100%.
When I'm feeling 100%, not just whatever I'm at right now.
50%.
I'm more than 50, but nowhere near 100. But yeah. All right, guys. Ciao.